however, right? It's not like all grief's done and then we go on to joy. But it's how to bring a balance to our lives, how to be able to hold grief completely, wholeheartedly, let it soak into the marrow, as they say, um, and also open oneself in equanimity to all the blessings, all the joys, all the good, all the birthing, all the beginnings, all the new, all the fresh. And even when it appears that that's not what's in what may appear to be the same office. I'm looking at the same computer. I've got the same lights shining in through the patio doors. But is it true? And the answer is, of course, it is not true. There has never been this sun shining in this window on these crystals before. And so it is how to keep bringing that perspective, that fresh, that new, that enlivened, that joyful, that awakened perspective to life. Even, I don't want to get, let me get out of the word even, along with the reality of loss. Loss, change, things transitioning. And then this is, I know this to be true. And I trust that you know this to be true as well. I just saw an unstable connection for my computer. They are putting in some things on the street today, and they said I might lose it. So what I think I want to do first, yeah, thank you, Denise. My screen may continue to freeze. And if that continues, would somebody let me know? Come on and let me know. And then I'm going to have to probably do a switch over to my phone because the internet today is going to be very shaky. I'm going to get Carrie here for a second. And Carrie, I don't, let's, oh, good.
I'm here.
So Carrie, if I die with you as co-host, will you be able to hold the group till I can come back in?
Yeah.
Right? That should work.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll give that a try and see how it goes. I have a feeling based on the instability now. In the last 2 minutes or so, has the internet been okay?
Yes, as far as I can see. I
Okay.
mean, you did the screen froze a bit just a few minutes ago.
Okay. Let's just see how it goes. Carrie, will you spot me so that if I just get frozen, let me know, and then I'll just get out of this.
Yeah.
Climb
You have your phone. You have your phone by you?
right here.
Okay.
I'll just climb on to that. Okay, so we're going to begin. Now we're going to start with this poem, and then we're going to be practicing a little bit the soaking in the good. Soaking in the good. Rick Hansen, of course, stole, as we all did. These are 2,600-year-old practices, by the way. Nobody's come up with anything original. Nope, don't think so. So when you go, Tara Brach, I love that. She did that. No, she didn't. These are 26+100-year-old coming across many traditions, by the way. So don't even get caught in the, oh, but I really love those Hindi traditions or these Buddhists. They are go across really spiritual communities and traditions in all kinds of most amazing and beautiful ways. This soaking in the good is an essential practice for balancing, for finding equanimity, for remembering, for drinking in, absorbing like a sponge the good news that I am alive this day, that I'm a part of this precious human life, that I get to love, live, breathe, and make offerings, and that you are essential. You are essential to the happiness of this world, even though you don't think you have anything always to contribute. It is not true. Your very presence is the blessing. So let's look at this poem by Derek Walcott, a Trinidadian. This is the poem Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you have ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit. Feast on your life. Let's just drink that in. Prepare to sit. Seeing what is awakened, what is made vital. Seeing where in your own breathscape that love penetrates. Maybe it's an ache, a twinge, a grip, an open space, a lightness, an ease. See if you can breathe right into that spot, knowing it by heart. And as we breathe, we recollect the things we love, the things that matter, the things to which we commit ourselves again and again and again. That love, that undying, unconditioned, the love that does not die. No love dying here, said Gregory Porter. Love, after all the attachments, after all the aversions, after all the delusions about love have fallen away, there is this gem, this jewel that remains, this unconditioned state of love that cannot be altered by any circumstance. Can we recollect it, find our way to it now? Breathe into that heart. Make room, make way, make yourself bigger. Come home to yourself. And as you touch him with the in-breath, with the out-breath, call to mind those special ones, those you love, those you care for, those in need. Radiant, luminous, completely chock full of goodness breath. Send it out. May it benefit all beings everywhere without exception. May we take joy and be glad in not breathing just for ourselves, not acting, thinking, speaking, living just for ourselves at all, but as an interconnected. And may this practice contribute. With the strike of the bell, we wake up. We wake up to the truth of this love, always available, existing right here, not somewhere else, not buried, just obscured at times by our own distracted minds. And so, with the big in breath, breathing in, filling the cavities, creating open space, we breathe out, settling into that love. And then let's do it again, breathing in deeply, expanding, creating heart space, room, let it out, letting go of all the barriers, dissolving all the boundaries, the separation. Let go of all that stuff we've constructed for too long. Rest in your own being, this undying, unconditioned reality of love, of kindness, of compassion, of goodness. Find it within yourself. Feel that place within your own body. Rest the attention there. I'm just going to hold lightly into that whole breathscape for a few moments for myself. Though there's certainly a vibrational energy around the heart, I don't want to zoom in on that just yet. I'm just going to hold lightly the sukha, the sweetness of that love after love. Breathing it in, sending it out. And we're not distributing just yet. So when I say sending it out, I simply mean to our own breath body. We need it ourselves, don't we? And then I'd like you to call to mind, this is how we recollect the good, remember it and soak in it. We first recollect some of the good that has been offered to us this lifetime. Calling to mind maybe a particular person, a circumstance, a way of knowing that deep, abiding, never dying, never ending love. How do you know it? Calling that experience to mind, recollecting it, visualizing if that's helpful. My father, of course, comes to mind right away. He's a big hero in the love department. Who comes forward for you? It may be a person living or not, a person that you knew or know, a deity, someone who was known for their loving presence, their goodness, and often an amalgam. We can get like a little flip directories of parts of beings who activate that sense within us, but continue to call that to mind on purpose, place the attention there. And then just wake down as we do to feel into the heart space, the breathscape. See if we can just keep breathing it in, inviting it into our own body beings. Remember that Tibetans, we've done these practices before, just pour in that love, pour in that light like honey being poured over a body, a being, soaking into the heart. You might choose to picture these loving beings sending radiant love down from their eyes and smile down into yours, right into your own heart space. But keep breathing it in, enjoying it, allowing yourself to be rejuvenated, revived, revitalized. Recollecting this goodness, this love. This is how you learn to love yourself, by the way. Soak it in. Breathe with it, breathe it in. Let it touch you. If not on the outside in, at least from the inside out. Let it burst the heart open, this contracted, ordinary, everyday heart that we forget about. We forget that it carries this extraordinary love. And just like a sponge, we're just going to receive those rays of goodness, rays of light, that honey like sugar that nourishes. Drink it in. And when it feels like the heart is overflowing, just like that sponge, we just let that ooze out, begin to ooze itself out into the other parts of the body. Like that golden honey radiant, just touching every organ. Feel its warmth. Feel its love, its goodness. Keep checking in. See how you know it. We know in the science, of course, that the polyvagal bundle is impacted by this love, by calling it to mind. Uh, Richie Davidson, someone that we are going to read about from Wisconsin, really did lots of studies, and it equals a kind of flooding opening of warmth, space, light, room, however you can feel it. That bundle really is activated between the brain stem all the way down to the belly. And by the way, it does actually radiate. This is not just imagery, it's actually happening, informing, affecting, influencing all the other cells. All the other tissues, breathe it in. And if you get a little weary on one image, again, I just use my directory. I let whoever I have known love by just appear. And I just hold them for a moment and drink that in. If it's not a person, maybe it's a deity, maybe it's your image of God, of source, of the divine. Maybe it's a pet. Maybe it's the loving eyes of a parent, a child, a partner, a friend. Soak it in. Let it be truly nourishing, which means we have to soften, open, and allow. You know, all the best food in the world can't be metabolized if we're pursing our lips, if we're holding the goodness off, if we're rejecting or resisting based on those old storylines. See if you can't soften the body up with those out breaths. Letting that radiant goodness move in and deeper. I want you to remember what this feels like, because we're going to be drinking from this straw, from this source throughout the days this week, each day, stopping, making contact with goodness and soaking it in. We have to create space, time, and purposeful intention in order to make contact with this. Remember, otherwise the negativity bias simply wins. It's quite a habit. You might call to mind groups, a family, a community, this community, spiritual friends. Drink them in. Nourish. Feel the effects on this body sitting here. Continuing to soften, open, and allow. Letting this goodness soak in and wash through the whole of you. All the way down beyond the breathscape, into the hips, the legs, the feet, all the way up to the shoulders, the neck, the head. And as we're soaking in this good, as we're drinking in this love, this abiding, undying, unconditioned love, we can offer ourselves not only the imagery, not only the felt sense, but the phrases. These phrases of loving kindness, of compassion, of rejoicing and equanimity. May I have happiness, true, abiding happiness. Breathing it in and distributing throughout. What would it mean if you really believed it? How would you breathe it in? May I have true, abiding, unending happiness. May I begin right here, this very breath. Surrounded by my circle of love, by my circle of loving others, by that circle of sweetness, soaking in the good. May I be free from distress, from pain, from worry and confusion, from all afflictions. May I be protected. May I direct my own heart mind in accord with that protection. May I find the needed refuge, the sanctuary, right here, this present moment. May I live with ease and well-being, soaking it in with each breath. May I remember my own goodness. I have been born of goodness, live in that goodness, and will die into that goodness. May I recollect that I am deserving of this love and attention. Soak it in. And then use whatever other objects arise, sound of the bird song, ticking of the clock. Drink that in as a part of that goodness. They're not distractions, they're just this beautiful life in its symphony, each as a reminder. Shine that light of goodness on all those objects and breathe them in. We don't have to reject them or get rid of them at all. Each a gift. We keep the body soft, the mind, heart open, receptive, allowing we soak in the good from all directions. We'll take some time now to shift from all that has come before to all that is present now. opening the container of our awareness wide, opening that boundless heart to include sounds, seeing if we can feel, sense, and see the love right there. Sounds of people getting about their day. Animals, birds, dogs, people. All in their movements as a result of love. Breathe that in from all directions, making light contact, inviting that smile, that open, receptive heart, mind, and breathing it in. And there may be a silence there. Breathe that into. Recollecting and soaking in the good in this present moment. We don't need anything to be different or altered here. The goodness that is available this present moment is always enough. The warmth of the shawl, the softness of the sock, the contact with the rug, the caw of the crow, the tick of the clock, all blessings to be breathed in. To be known. Watching for the rushing or craving mind, its tendency not to truly take it in, but to rush to the next. See if you can settle back a little bit. No hurry, there is enough. This present moment offers exactly what's needed. Come back to yourself. It's in our hunger and in our fear that we rush forward, missing the sukkah, missing the nourishment of this moment. Come back. We keep filling the vase with that golden, warm, honey-like sweetness, soaking it in, all the way once again to the marrow of our own being, deep into the heart. Feasting on the life that is offered right here. We can extend and expand that soaking in the good to include then not only the in-breath and nourishing our own heart, minds, and bodies. We can then begin, now that we have this wider lens, this open space in which sounds appear, thoughts arise and pass, we can now make an offering if that's available to you. We can let that sukar, that sweetness, that goodness, begin to just translate out, dissolving all barriers between me and life, between this body and this space. Imagine yourself being dropped into that warm broth and just like salt, dissolving that goodness, spreading it throughout. Like a drop of sugar. We can visualize this, we can feel the sense that there really is no bounds, no limits, no barriers between the goodness of us and the goodness of this life and this moment. We can call to mind then, when we're ready, others just like us, who need this sweetness, who need to be able to remember their own goodness, the goodness of others. And we can continue to let then, with the in-breath and the out-breath, let that goodness permeate this open space. We can visualize it, we can feel its vibration moving beyond our own body and breath. We can offer these phrases. Covering the whole world, all beings in this goodness. And doing so in your own time. May we all be happy, having true, abiding, and unconditional happiness. May we all be free from distress, from fear, from pain, from loneliness, from all affliction. May we all live with ease and well-being. Letting that goodness flow out, touching others. May we all remember our true nature, our essential goodness. and that we are all deserving of love and attention. And then inviting that very attention, that very love, inviting it back to one's own body, one's own heart, resting in that goodness for the last few moments. Soaking in the good of this present moment. Feeling the reality of this love beyond love. Soaking it in. And may this practice contribute that our aspirations be realized. Any comments, any thoughts about this practice before we go to chapter 5 in the Real Change book by Sharon Salzberg? Chapter 5, this is week 6, but chapter 5, I know it got a little confusing for others, but any comments, any concerns or questions about this practice? Soaking in the good. Yeah, don't we need that? Boy, don't we forget. Yeah, right. It's right here for us. When I touch into it, there is an essential sadness I feel at the fact that it's so easy to forget, isn't it? It's so easy to forget. We get so lost in the thing we didn't want, the thing we don't like, the thing we want to be different, that we miss the beauty. don't we? We miss the truth. We miss the connection. We miss the love right here. And it's good for us to remember. And so I hope that was in some way helpful for you. I'm going to go to, if there isn't anything, I'm looking, don't see anything critical here. I want to make sure we try to get through some parts of this chapter. It's a long one, but I think the practices are juicy and things you will love this week as I do. So I'm going to read this for Monica because I know it's true for many of us often. Very stormy mind and big involuntary movement in body. Yeah, Kriya, the movement of energies in the body. It's just something we need to let happen. Just don't resist or fight with that or try to, it's actually not productive to try to grab onto it. We just let the body express that. Could you remind someone else, like I have, to be deserving of soaking in the good? Let me get back. I lost that. Could you remind me what I can do with those spiraling movements of upper body and neck? Yeah, we just get into it, sway or swell. We're just riding it like a wave. You're not resisting. You're just letting it happen. In fact, you can just let yourself have it. It's just energies being moved through the body, often contracted or